In this episode of the English Right Now podcast, we're talking about money in British culture, what people say, what we actually mean, and the hidden rules you need to understand if we want to talk about money with confidence in the UK. Welcome to the English Right Now podcast. My name is British English teacher Roy, and joining me is my dear friend Rob. Hello.
Hello. Whatcha, Roy? How are we?
You're getting more Australian as time's going on with your greeting.
G'day.
That's true. We're talking money today, and it's an interesting topic. We're going to actually have a real conversation about something we don't often talk about. We're going to teach at least like 10 pieces of vocabulary as we normally do. But money, how comfortable do you feel talking about your salary?
Yeah, not much really. I mean, yeah, in the UK we don't like to talk about money, do we? So that's the podcast over, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Thank you very much for watching. Yeah,
No,
it's a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we do obviously talk about money, but money is a subject that is taboo. So we need to kind of decode when we and unpack when we can talk about it and when we can't. So,
Yeah.
you know, if you and me, we're having a chat, I wouldn't necessarily say, "Oh, I earned this year," or "This is my salary. How much do you earn?" I would never ask you these sort of questions because it's seen
No.
as very private, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, we don't really talk about the money we've got or the money we're getting. We do talk a lot about the cost of things and how much things cost us in a sort of way that we've been affected badly, by a cost of something. Oh, it cost me this. I had to spend this much. But we don't then say, but it's okay because I'm a millionaire,
Which you are, obviously, but we don't talk about that, so we'd never know. And that's another thing we need to talk about is how we show wealth, or we don't really. But this is something. So one thing I would say, definitely a subject to avoid, is asking somebody how much they earn, how much they have, how much something like a house cost. You wouldn't say, "How much did your house cost?" or "How much is your house?" You can always Google that. But these subjects are off limits. And also, I think if, like, maybe, I don't know, you earned £100,000 a year and I earn £40,000 a year, you shouldn't tell me because it makes me feel it's a status thing, isn't it? So we avoid conversations about that. So we like to keep it kind of neutral. But yeah, absolutely.
I say we do judge people, don't we? If we knew how much they earned or how much wealth they had, we judge people. We assume they are loaded, we might say, loaded.
Yes.
Meaning lots
Loaded,
of money.
very rich.
Or they're flashing the cash, they're spending lots of money.
Yeah, and these are things, and I think there's the possibility to resent people if they earn a lot of money and we don't. If we're struggling financially and we don't want to feel like that. And also, if somebody's telling you how much they're earning and I made this and I did this year, it's like they're bragging, and bragging is not really that good in British culture. Seen very negatively. So,
indeed, yeah.
That out of the way, we can sometimes talk about money. Not directly as into personal wealth or, value of salary, but we commonly talk about it when we're complaining, don't we?
Yeah, that's right. I say it's more negatively, isn't it, that we talk about money, about how we've been ripped off. There's an expression, we ripped off.
Gosh.
Charged
what does
too
that
much
mean?
for something. Well, we've been charged too much for something, or somebody has kind of dishonestly got more money out of us than we should have, spent, that sort of thing.
Or we feel like it was more expensive than it should have been.
Yeah.
So it could be at a shop, and you could say, "My goodness, look at the price! That's an absolute rip-off." It's a bottle of drink is twice the price we expect to pay. What a rip-off! I mean, the price is the price, but
I always think about like parking at the airport, or nowadays, if you drop your friends or family off at the airport, you get charged just for dropping them off. And I think that's a rip-off. It's unfair, basically.
This is the point where you say that I'm tight-fisted. We can say tight or tight-fisted, which refers to a person that doesn't like spending money and they're a bit, controlled with their money. But I really don't like spending money on parking.
No.
Do you?
Especially as the price, no, not at all, but especially more recently as the price of parking seems to have really gone up. That it seems ridiculous. You pay £3 to park for half an hour in the town or something like that. So
Yeah.
I spend, I don't know about you, I spend ages driving around the back
Yeah.
streets looking for free parking to save money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's common sense.
You may end up spending twice as much on petrol driving round and 4 miles away from where you want to be. But my goodness, I've saved that money on the parking. Yes, I'm exactly the same.
Yes. You feel you
Even
have a
to the point,
you've got a bargain then, don't you? Or you've really saved something.
I actually literally this morning fractured my well, I went to the fracture clinic to check that my foot was or was not broken because I've hurt it. And I actually ended up parking quite far away and walking
Hobbling.
to say, yeah, I hobbled to the clinic. But yeah, so
Yes.
it's a weird one, isn't it? Anything to save a bit of money.
Well, let's say not everybody's the same, but yes, we seem
No.
to be similar there, Roy. We like to count our pennies because they do say,
Yes.
if you what's the expression? If you
Look after the pennies and the pounds will look
pounds
after
take-
themselves.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. My grandma said that. You've just elevated yourself to the status of my grandma, but she was very good with money. She was very savvy, very knowledgeable with money. So, we've talked about kind of, rip off and things like this. An expression that you commonly hear is cost me an arm and a leg, which means cost a lot of money as well. Sort of things like this. And people, we love complaining. It was overpriced, too expensive. It cost me this much. Unbelievable. But it's not all complaining in the UK, is it?
No. I mean, sometimes I say when you save money, you think you've had a bargain, or
Yes.
you've done well somehow because you've saved money, even though you bought something you probably didn't want in the first place. If it was reduced in a sale, for example,
Yeah.
you think you saved money, but in effect, you have spent money, but you've saved a bit more. Yeah.
And this is the kind of thing I think the only time really British people brag is acceptable. It's acceptable to brag about money is when you've saved money on a purchase. I think that's the only time. Like if you go, "Oh, I love your jumper," and I go, "Charity shop." It's like charity shop. Obviously, is one of those shops on the high street where people donate clothes and then other people buy them for. To give money to the charity as well and get an item. But it's got this idea of being a bargain.
Yeah, I mean, if you went to a shop, if you went even not to a charity shop, but a clothes shop, and there's a sale on, you go, "Oh yeah, half price," or it was a steal. That's another thing we might say.
It's a steal. Obviously, we don't steal it. Not that's not good. But yeah, no, it's like a steal. It's like an absolute bargain. And it's in this time. These days and age, this day and age, where there are a lot of people struggling financially in the world. We do. I think even more. It becomes more. Oh my God, you should grab some while they've still got them. They still had a load the other day. But yeah, we do downplay. Like if somebody says, "Oh goodness, is that bag Gucci?" Instantly, somebody will go, "It's a fake. It's a knockoff," or charity shop, or "Oh, actually, I got it dirt cheap." We don't like to. We show our wealth too much.
Yeah, we downplay the cost of it, don't we? Again, to stop us bragging, I suppose, because it would, for example, if it was a real Gucci bag, it's almost insulting, isn't it? It's like saying, "Oh, I've got lots of money. I've got more money than you. I'm wealthier than you. I've got a Gucci bag." So we tend generally to downplay it, and like you say, "Oh, it's a fake. Oh, it's secondhand. I got it from a charity shop."
Yeah, and it's even if it's real, I think people will go, "It's not. I don't think it's genuine." Because we don't like to seem like we're trying to be above our station. I think that's another thing as well, which is a really weird culture when you think about it. But this is how we are. We're not saying whether it's right or wrong. We're just merely of. Yeah.
And could I say as well that even rich people are like this? I think. I mean, I've got friends who work in the financial sector. Bankers and stuff like that. It's clear they've got lots of money, but they like to say, "Oh, this only cost me. Oh, it's going cheap. I've got this. It was going cheap." Even though they've got lots of money, they like to also downplay the cost of things.
You could say that these people are rolling in it, which means very, very rich. But yeah, everybody does, and I think this is a thing about British culture that I noticed through my father-in-law's eyes. So my father-in-law is Brazilian, and he came across the UK, and we met this guy on the street. We asked for directions, I think it was. Anyway, he was in very kind of old, tatty clothes. There were holes in his clothes. He didn't look, he didn't look well dressed at all. He was missing a tooth. And my father-in-law was like, and he gave us lovely directions, and he was driving a very old car that was kind of falling apart. And then he said, "Oh, if you want to see, just come up to my house." And we walked up the steps to his house, and his house must have been worth £3 or £4 million. It was an amazing house. So that's his house. Yet he drives an old car, dresses like, he hasn't bought clothes in 30 years, and he was missing a tooth. So it's a weird one, isn't it? And my father-in-law was like, well, if he has all this money, why would he not get his tooth fixed? Why would he not buy a new car? And I think it's in the culture, I think it's a bit ugly in some ways to show your wealth, but also people like to almost hide it, I guess.
I mean, it depends on your priorities. I mean, maybe that guy you're talking about is he's made his money by not spending any money and not getting his tooth fixed.
It could be quite tight-fisted.
Yeah, I want to have loads of money in the bank, so I'm not going to spend it on important things, Well, some people, of course, I say flash the cash. They like to, and they irritate others, don't they? Because they're sort of saying, "Oh, yeah, I think got this,"
It's quite vulgar. I think it's seen as quite vulgar. And we have these kind of disparaging these terms like, "Oh, he's new money," which means it's new. It's not established wealth. Which technically, there's nothing wrong with being new money. But yeah, I think there's this negativity towards it. This idea that they're not established, that they're not comfortable with money, and spend. They're a bit showy with money.
Yes, yeah.
But I find in general, most people I know who are quite rich, you would never be able to tell from just looking at them. But they often invest in their houses, potentially in their cars as well, but mainly in their houses. And they may have one or two things which kind of gives it away. Like they may have a Rolex, but quite a discreet Rolex. Or they may have, there's just a moment where they pull something out, and you'll see their bank card, and it's from a millionaire's bank. What's millionaire's bank? Coots, is it?
Something
Coots?
Like that, yeah. They probably put all their money into investments, don't they? So their money is growing behind the scenes, so that later in life they'll be even richer.
Yeah. And then people say you can't take it with you.
No.
So yeah, I mean, it's the thing. Obviously, I mean, do you have a bank account in Coots?
I don't. No.
But you wouldn't tell me if you did, would you?
No, I wouldn't tell you exactly. Keep it quiet.
No, exactly. And that's the thing, isn't it?
I was say, Roy, what about when you splash the cat? If you go out and take the family out for a meal, which I'm sure you do all the time, how do you sort of downplay that?
In what sense? With who?
What do you say? I mean, do you say, "Look, I'm really rich, so I'm going to take you all out for dinner," or do you go, "Oh, I'm just going to, push the boat out today"?
Push the boat out is a great expression, isn't it? Push the boat out means maybe stretch your money a bit further than you should. No, usually, I'll say, "Oh, look, it's been a bit of a hard week or so. Why don't we all go for dinner? We really shouldn't, but I kind of make it seem like, oh, it's a bit naughty, like I'm betraying something. But obviously I wouldn't go, "Hey everybody," especially not with my family. "Hey everybody, hey, we're flush. Let's go out." It's a bit vulgar even with my family. So yeah, even then I would say, even if we dined out every day, I'd say, "Oh, we really shouldn't, but we deserve it." These kind of things.
Yes, that sort of thing. We would say it was kind of, it's a special occasion. It's Friday, so so we kind of make an excuse, a reason for sort of spending money.
Yeah, and you use some expressions. I'm not loaded, which means very rich. I'm not minted, also means very rich. But we have all these expressions, don't we? Like for money. Obviously the opposite of new money is old money, which is like this kind of traditional wealth. But then we also have some terms which mean the opposite. Which one would you use to describe yourself when you don't have any money?
Broke, I suppose, is an obvious
Yeah.
one.
Broke is kind of
Penniless is
established.
extreme, but yeah.
Penniless, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm.
Penniless, that's a good one. But broke is kind of it's got this feeling of a long-term financial hardship. Like you've got zero money and it's an established feeling. Whereas something like skint feels, in my opinion, feels a bit more temporary. It's got a more
Yes.
temporary. I'm skint at the moment.
Yeah, until payday or something like that.
Yeah.
And the other one I might use is I'm strapped for cash.
Oh, good one. Yeah. Strapped for cash, or brassic. I hear quite a bit. Do you use brassic?
No, I don't. I haven't heard that one actually, Roy, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm absolutely brassic at the moment. So that's another one that people use. But that's the joy of slang, isn't it? It goes all regional and also age related as well. So it could be a younger slang. Well, no, that's the thing. I mean, the kids these days, you've got younger kids. I've got even younger kids. And they're using language that we would just look weird using.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the language slays.
Mm.
But, you know,
yeah.
You know, and that's the ironic thing. The slang terms that we're using are very universal. So what do you normally splash out on? Which is where you spend quite a bit of money, usually on a luxury.
Yeah. Well, no luxuries at all, I don't think. But I do spend a lot of money on travel. But even then, when I travel, I might go on if I'm going abroad, I'll go on a budget airline, or I won't take any luggage with me to save money. But yeah, most of my money goes on other than everyday spending. What's that?
Toothbrush, passport, and I'm there.
I might splash out on a toothbrush
for a month. But yeah, splash
travel,
out.
But splash out on a bit of travel. I don't often buy many new clothes, as you can see.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
If you say so, splash out is usually where it's an extravagant expense, some kind of luxury expense. Whereas fork out can be used to mean spend money on something both luxury or necessary. So you fork out a lot of money on travel, do you?
Yes, that's right. Well, I wouldn't say it's necessary. It's more of a
but I was talking more about work related. Maybe your commute. Do you fork out a lot on travel or on your commute?
Yeah, train fares into London, for example. Yeah, I had to fork out on that. Fork out on lunch, unless I take my own lunch with me. And then, of course, if I've got a car, sometimes I have to fork out on maintenance and stuff like that. Unnecessary stuff you don't want to spend, but you have to,
Yeah. So that's the difference, isn't it? With kind of splash out is often on something nice. Fork out is often unwillingly. And another one we use is stump up. Come on, stump up your share. This kind of thing. It's pay when you really don't want to.
Yeah.
But at the moment, you must be raking it in.
Yeah, bringing lots of money in from all my my jobs. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I mean, this is the thing we need to talk about. So we've talked about this idea that we don't talk about money, but we do when we're moaning or we're talking about a bargain, when we're playing things down, and that it's difficult to tell if somebody's a millionaire or not. I think this is the thing, and we've talked about a lot of expressions, like we've talked about, push the boat out, these sort of things. But we need to talk about how we actually talk about general money, because of course the currency that we have is the pound.
Yeah,
but we often call a pound a
quid informally.
Yeah, quid. Yeah, and it's an irregular plural because we have 1 quid, 2 quid, 3 quid, 4 quid. It's not quids, is it? So we have quid. What other terms do we use to talk about money?
I was going to say on the quid thing, we do sometimes say we're quids in, don't we?
Yes.
If we've made a bit of money and, or again, got a bargain. We're quids in.
But that's more a fixed expression, isn't it?
Yeah.
Quids in. Yeah. Quids in at the moment, making a bit of money.
But quid is a pound. Sometimes I might have some loose change. So, some coins in my pocket, sort of a pound coin, pennies, 2 pennies, things like that.
Yeah. We often call them p, don't we? 1p, 2p.
Yeah.
As well, 50p.
Yeah.
So the denominations.
Yeah. Go on, you take the denominations.
Denominations 1p, 2p, 5p, 10p, 20p, 50p, a pound and a £2 coin. And then in terms of notes, we have £5 note, £10 note, £20 note, and £50 note, and that's it, as far as I can think.
Yeah, is there £100 note? I've never seen one.
No, me neither. Which either says something about the way in which we earn. No, there's not a £100 note. No,
but
perhaps
we don't,
the way we're going should be.
Yeah, well, we don't see much cash these days. That's the other thing. We're becoming more of a cashless society. I think that's not just in the UK, but we often use our plastic a lot more, don't we?
Yeah, we do. And people say, is it cash or card when you go to a supermarket or something like this? Paying by cash or card? And I think they get quite shocked when you say, "Oh, cash." They're like, "Oh, oh, okay," because nobody uses cash. And it's weird. We are becoming, as you say, cashless. I think that's the same for a lot of countries in the world. You can let us know in the comments how common it is in your neck of the woods, in your region. But a lot of people also use their phones and their watches. I'm not ready for the watch, but I do use my phone now.
Yeah.
Do you pay with your phone?
Yeah, I've got so used to doing that now. It's contactless, isn't it? So you just literally wave your phone. It makes it. I mean, obviously, it makes the transactions easier, but it also means it's so easy to spend and not even, keep an eye on what you're spending. Whereas with cash, that when your £10 note has been used up, you've got no money left. But now you just keep blipping and blipping and blipping and not sure how much you've spent.
Beep, 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 beep. It's tap, 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 tap all the time, isn't it? And I agree with you. I get worried about this because I think it's too easy to spend money, not easy to save in a lot of ways. But in general, I think one thing that I found really intriguing that's starting more here is in paying in installments. So when I was in Brazil, they tend to split the payments. So they maybe pay 10 times or 12 times. I don't know exactly how many times they pay. So if it costs 1,000 reais, they'll spend, 10, I think they call them parcelos, but don't quote me on that. Somebody's going to quote me in the code. No, it's not that, Roy, but they pay them. No, that was something that I always said isn't really common in the UK. But now we have a lot of these kind of split payment systems where you can split it 3 times. Do you use any of those?
No, I don't. That's interest free, isn't it, as well? You don't pay any interest, is that right?
Some of them.
Some of them do.
Some of them. I think it depends on how many payments you make.
Yeah.
I think if you pay 6 times, I think you do pay interest. I don't know about Brazil. I'm talking about England. Some of these systems like Klarna, I think you can split the payment 3 times. And I tend to do that when buying Lego.
Good, you buy a lot of Lego.
I do, but I split it 3 times, so it doesn't feel that bad.
Yeah. I guess I'm more used to using credit cards, which in a similar way you can split you can pay a little amount each month. You do often get, unless you have a special credit card, you often get charged for that, but it does mean you can split your payments over a longer period of time. That's your credit card. Then of course we still have debit cards, don't we? They're our everyday cash cards, where the money comes straight out of your bank account. But credit cards are good, I suppose, for borrowing money.
I think a lot of people prefer to buy things without borrowing. In general, I think credit and these sort of systems is becoming more common. But in my experience, a lot of British people, particularly more sort of older British people, they would prefer to just pay in one go and not think about it. And I often see this. I often see this kind of debate that actually, if you pay in installments, you've got more money in your account to save money. But it depends how good you are with money.
Yeah.
I
don't like having debts, to be honest. So if there are any debts and I can afford to pay them off, I like them cleared out the way. I don't like that sort of debt hanging over my head.
Most British people I know are very uncomfortable with the idea of debt, although I know a lot of them are forced into it because some people are really living hand to mouth at the moment, which means just enough money to survive. So they're needing to borrow money, which is, but a lot of people don't choose debt or credit as a main option, in my experience. And I think it's an interesting thing. That's a cultural philosophy that sort of being in debt is seen as a very, well, I mean, we used to have debtors' prisons, didn't we?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
People used to go to prison for debt. Although I have heard some people still go to prison for debt, bad debt, running up bad debt. So
pretty severe debt, though. We're not a few pounds.
Not £5. Roy, you owe me £5 to prison with you. it's not that. We're talking thousands upon thousands of, But this is the thing. So we talked about quid, 1 quid, 2 quid, 3 quid, 4 quid. What other common sort of words do we use, slang terms do we use for amounts of money?
A stash. You might have a stash of money.
Cash, which is like a pile.
And I mean,
as well.
Yeah, but talking about cash, I mean, when was the last time you went to what we call a cash point, which might be known as an ATM or a teller or something like that?
Yeah, ATM I think is the correct term. ATM is the American term, and we kind of look at that. But I've got a feeling, and it's one of those interesting facts, Cash Point is actually a brand name. And we should call them cash machines or ATMs. But it's weird because we see ATM as a kind of Americanism, and it's not. It's the correct term, but we call them cash points. Ironically enough, I'm going to use the cash point today because I owe somebody £10. Got to avoid that serious consequence. But no, I'm going to give somebody 10 quid. I think it was a promised birthday, so it's not really owed. It's more promised. No. But I'll use that as a kind of cash point thing. But very rarely do I use cash points. Even to the point where I've forgotten my PIN number.
All right, wow.
I have to look it up on the phone. But yeah, other ways we talk about money. Instead of £5 note, we could call it a fiver. £10 note could be a tenner. £20 note, 20, 50, so on. But fiver could also mean £5, couldn't it? How much is that? It's a fiver. £10, it's a tenner. Things like that. Other than that, I hear a lot of terms like score, all these sort of word monkey. Is it monkey? Is that one?
Yeah, there is one.
Yeah, a pony. I think it is. A pony. I don't know if it is a monkey. It's a pony, isn't it? A pony. These sort of things. You don't really use them. A score is 20, and a pony is 25. I think.
Okay.
But I've never really. I'd find it a bit weird if you went, "Oh, Roy, lend me a score."
Yeah, these are the sort of terms you might hear if you went to the horse races or the dog racing or something like that. This is what the people there are shouting out, aren't they?
I mean, like a ton is technically £100, but I think people use that to mean a lot of money. Oh, I made a ton. These sort of things. And the only one we would use, the only two things we do need to use, cash is obviously physical money. A grand is £1,000. So, Rob, you earn 100 grand a year. We've established that.
100K, we also say as well.
100K, that's the other one. Yeah. So we wouldn't say 100K. We wouldn't say that out loud. We might say, you owe me 5 grand, but we would write in a text 5K, which means 5,000. I'm just trying to give you a hint here. You owe me 5K. But on that note, I suppose we've talked a lot about money. If you have any other questions related to this or any other subjects, please do let us know. We always love answering questions. But if you want to support this podcast, you could always buy a cup of tea for myself or for Rob or for both of us. There is a link down below. But for me, I just want to say, Rob, thank you very much for chatting to me about money today. I know you're rolling in it and it's a subject you love talking about. But thank you very much for talking. And thank you, everyone, for listening to us today.
It's been fun. See you next time.
See you next time. Bye.